Hi, I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and in this video I'm going to show you how to assemble one kind of block from the new Seagull quilt pattern. So this is a mix and match pattern, which means you can put the pieces together any way you like, and there are two different kinds of seagulls in the pattern. One where you see the entire seagull body, and the other one, this one, where you are super zoomed in on the head of the bird. So I'm going to do three different blocks, and then I'll come back and show you finished versions of all of them. Okay, so I chose this example for this video because this is going to be a version of the seagull that has a big long beak that's going to stick out one side, and he's also wearing a little bandana, so he's going to have some tails on the other side. And the reason that I wanted to make sure that I'm using my size guide is because I want to make sure that once I get the beak on there and the tails on the bandana on there, that I'm not breaking the boundaries on the sides of my block. So I want this to fit in a 10-inch block. So here's what I have, and I'm just gonna lift these up a little bit and show you. Let me get this out of the way. So under here I have, this is a cereal box, and I've cut a 10-inch square out of it. So this shows me that exactly the frame that I have for my finished block. So when I make my blocks a little bit bigger, and then I trim them down to 10.5 inches so that when I sew them all together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I have 10-inch squares. So I need to make sure that my picture that I'm doing either fits in a 10-inch square, or I've left some pieces unfused so that it can bust into a different frame. And I have another video that actually shows you how to do that deliberately. So in this video, I'm going to show you how not to do that. I want to make sure that this is going to fit in a 10-inch square. So I've got my frame, and then I've got a silicone mat. So the silicone mat is going to allow me to assemble all of the pieces and fuse them together, and then I can peel them off, and it works like a like one big iron-on instead of all the pieces. So we're going to start, get these out here, and the eye. I'm going to start with the head, because that is the main piece that's going to go in this block. So I'm just going to imagine that it's kind of a little bit off to the side, and we'll see when we get the beak in there what we want to do about that. So now I'm going to have the beak pieces. So I've got a top beak, and that is the kind of hooked piece. Now it's not necessarily going to stay there, but I'm just going to tuck it there to start with. And then the bottom beak is going to go down lower than that. So I've got a few options. Let me go ahead and put the eye in there just so we can start seeing where that goes. So the eye is going to go somewhere in here. All right, with the beak, we can do a closed beak where the top overlaps the bottom. I can do a slightly open beak, like he's talking to somebody. I can get really, really crazy and have him be talking very loudly, doing the loud seagull screech. And I can actually have the top and the bottom pieces be completely separate. And then everything in between. You can go from super wide open to completely closed. Just, you want to make sure that if you do have them overlapping, you want the top to overlap the bottom. That is going to give you a distinctive, the way a bird's beak looks. And you've also got some flexibility with how far out you stick that. Seagulls have pretty big beaks. So they have pretty long beaks compared to other birds. So I'm gonna let's do just like a slightly open mouth for now. And I've got this set now so that it is just about touching that edge. So now let's start looking at what it's gonna look like when we put the bandana in there. So I'm gonna peel off the paper backing, get that bandana in place. And now I might move the eye down just a smidge. And you can tip, you can make the bandana go straight. You can give him a kind of a little bit of a daring look with it tipped forward. I'm going to tip it back a little bit. Put that up. All right, and now I've got the bandana tails. And I'm just going to tuck them behind the bandana. So I've got one tail sticking out there. And then one tail that's going to be coming up the top. And I think I don't want this to look like it's continuing that line. So I'm going to angle that a little bit more, I think. All right, so this is definitely slanting down. I could also have it, both of them kind of going up a little bit. You can play around with your bandana tails and make them look however you want. I think I am going to have this going down a little bit and this one pointing up a little bit. All right, so now I have this and it is just barely, I've got maybe 1/8 of an inch over here and 1/8 of an inch clearance over here. And that's good. That means it's going to fit in my 10-inch block. And that has helped me. I could have made this beak quite a bit longer, but I can't do that because that's going to overlap that edge there. So I am going to, you know what, I'm going to make him be a silent. He's being a silent seagull. Tip that down. And then I'm pulling this just long enough to just fit inside. So that is my seagull. I'm going to take this over to my ironing board and I'm going to fuse all of these pieces together, and then I'll be able to peel it up and it will be one single iron-on that I can put on my blocks once I figure out the color arrangement for all of my blocks in this quilt. So this is just one of the examples, and now I'm going to use this video to show you all the rest of the examples. So the next one that we're going to work on is a seagull with a fish in his mouth. So we are going to start with the body, the head. So on this one, it's not as important that I'm using this frame behind it. I'm just going to do it for all of the blocks in this quilt. But this one has no pieces that are sticking off the side, so I don't really need to worry about whether it's going to fit or not. So he's going to have 2 eyes. And I'm just going to go ahead and randomly pop them in place, and we'll just decide where we want them once we get all the other pieces together. So then he's going to have a beak, and since this is him facing forward, it's just one piece for the beak, just one big kind of curvy triangle. And I do like it sometimes when the beak comes up between the eyes a little bit. I like how that looks, but again, this is tentative. So now we're going to put a fish in his beak. So the fish comes in 2 parts. It's his body and his tail. And I'm just going to tuck that underneath the beak, like he's got that in his mouth. And it's this fish, the fish that are swimming on this quilt pattern are straight, but the fish in his beak has kind of a curve to it, so it looks like it's dangling in his mouth. So now I've got the tail, and I'm just gonna tuck that underneath his body a little bit, and then I can put in an eye. So if you don't want to put in the eye, you can ignore the eye. This is very, very small applique piece. It's still applicable. I'm going to do it in mine, but you have options, and the pattern has links to a whole bunch of other possibilities. You could use fabric paint, you could embroider it by hand, you can use felt. There's a whole bunch of things, and they're all detailed in that other post. But I think I like how this looks quite a bit, just as it is. So if you wanted to, you could have him more holding it up at the tail. If you didn't want it to be quite as symmetrical, you can kind of tuck it like that, have it be hanging a little bit more head down. I kind of liked this whole block is a very symmetrical kind of block with his beak right in the middle. So I think I'm going to roll with that. There we go. Again, tuck those eyes down. I want the eyes to be just a little bit below the top of the beak. The bottoms of the eyes are below the top of the beak. All right, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. So I'm gonna carefully lift up my silicone mat, take this over to the ironing board and fuse it down so that I have another iron-on, just like this one, ready to put in blocks once I decide which color is going to go where. So I'll be back in a second with a new bird. All right, we've got one more facing forward bird, just like zoomed in on the head, seagull for this quilt. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy together as well, although he is the simplest of the three that I've done. So this guy is gonna be sitting a little bit off to the left side of the block. Again, I'm using this frame to help me visualize. And let's give him an eye. He is going to be looking sideways, and I want him to be squawking very loudly. So I am going to give this guy a very wide open beak. I have an idea that in the block adjacent to it, I'm going to use some letters and have him be saying very loudly, "Mine!" Because seagulls are notoriously greedy. So I may even, well, let's see, I'm imagining if I've got a block over here, I want his mouth to be open in this direction, maybe a little bit pointed up. So I can angle his eye a little bit if I want to. No, I think I like his eye straight forward. Again, that's the fun of these mix and match patterns, is you really get to play with them, move things around until you like what you see. So right now I'm overlapping the edge, but I still have room. I can push him a little bit further to the side in his block. But I think that looks great. So it's going to be open and then it'll say "mine" over here. So I'm going to take this over and fuse it down. And then I will bring back all three of the blocks that I've made after I've done all of the outline stitching and show you what they look like. And then in a separate video, I'm going to show all of the seagull blocks where you're seeing the entire bird. All right, this is the finished block for that side view that we made with his beak wide, wide open. All right, here is the finished view of the version with him holding the fish. And I just want to point out that that eye is tiny, but it is appliqueable. I'll just flip it over and show you. So you can stitch a little oval around it. It's just a little bit fussy to do, but it actually doesn't take long because it is so small. But if you do not want to applique anything that tall and that small, and I get it because it's really kind of fussy, the pattern has links to post that has details for all different ways that you can handle the eyes. I did on the fish blocks, I have some blocks in this quilt that are just fish swimming through the block. And on those, even though they're the same size as this one, I did use fabric paint to make their eyes, just so to show you two different options and what they look like. This is the same brand of fabric paint that I used to make the catch lights in all of my eyes. And I've got one more. And here is the finished version with the bandana on. He's all stitched all around him, and I did add some catch lights to all of the bird's eyes just to give them a little more life. I think that is especially valuable when they have such big eyes like these. We are so zoomed in on the head that the eyes are quite large, and having that little speck of light helps to make it look alive like an eye instead of making it look like a hole in the quilt. Sometimes solid black can look actually like a hole from a distance. So that is how you make the blocks that's 3 ways to make. There are so many different ways you can put this together, but that is 3 ways to make the versions of the block where you are zoomed way in on the head of the bird.